And if he does that, that's going to that'll make a dent, because uncertainty is a big problem, especially when people are saying, Obamacare. The other side saying Obamacare is a massive health government takeover. Well, it's really not. The private insurance companies escaped fairly, not unscathed, but they're still the primary elements of our healthcare system. But that's just on the front of healthcare. You could mention issues where pay discrimination against women that he addressed head on. We've seen moves in the directions of disengaging from Iraq, and there's talk of that the surge may be over in Afghanistan. But there's been a series of accomplishments and that he needs to promote. But the other thing he has is he just needs to get out there, be in the policy wonk that he is. He spends a lot of time with experts trying to figure out what's the best thing, and maybe that sometimes can lead to paralysis by analysis, or maybe it leads to better decision making. But it takes a lot of time, and it's clear he's been spending a lot of time trying to make the right calls. But now's the time to get out on the stump. And let's face it, he's powerful. He's charismatic. And in this era of televised political figures, that is so critical. Like I say to my classes, nobody would doubt that Abraham Lincoln is one of the greatest presidents, but there's no way he'd get elected right now, especially since I've heard recently that his voice was actually a little higher pitched than we typically hear. So not only was he tall and gangly, he had a high pitched voice, and
not a good combo.
Not going to sell on TV very well.
Well, political pundits on TV are speculating that President Obama will switch current Vice President Joe Biden and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in order to not only energize their more liberal base, but also reach more demographics that Clinton was actually more successful with during the primaries. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when it comes to the white working class, remember that business in West Virginia and Pennsylvania, I don't think it's going to have an impact on those voters. But for women, it could have a positive effect. I think it's a winning type of strategy in the long run, in that Joe Biden is a foreign policy maven. No, I mean, despite his occasional gaffes, which are well known, overall that's his strongest suit. So that's a good fit for him. And we're also suggesting who's being groomed to be the next president.
2016.
Exactly. And Hillary is obviously the front runner after Obama's gone, because she came in second anyways, and she's young. She's young enough to still be a vibrant candidate in 2016 and even 2020. So I think for the Democratic Party, that makes good policy sense, or for strategy sense, rather.
For the Republican contenders in 2012, some names include, but are not limited, Mitt Romney, Governor Mike Huckabee, Governor Sarah Palin, Newt Gingrich again, and even Donald Trump have been circulating in recent tabloids and entertainment-related news programs that he's considering a run as well. What is your kind of analysis of the field right now in terms of, do you see a potential front-runner without them announcing yet? Do you see like a Mitt Romney edging out a Sarah Palin? Do you think Mike Huckabee will run? I mean, there's a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty regarding it. What's your analysis on that?
I'll give you what I got, but this is, again, not my strongest suit.
Right.
Obviously, Sarah Palin is the star on that side, but she's a polarizing figure. Obviously, she motivates the Democratic base. But she also motivates the farther right of the conservative side of the equation. So right now I would have to put her first, but I don't know that she'd be a strong candidate in any general election. I would think it would be sort of like a follow-up to what I expect is going to be the case to a lot of these Tea Party candidates, which I could be wrong. Prediction is not my strong suit. Anyways, Mitt Romney, I think, is a strong would be number two, although he has the problem of his religion. Not to be offensive, but some people who are very religious and on their side are not going to be real comfortable, on the right, are not going to be comfortable with a Mormon candidate, kind of like JFK had to deal with being the first Catholic, and how it was an issue then. I think that's an issue for him. Huckabee is a very personable, likable guy. I don't know that is, and he certainly gets TV time because he is very likable.
And he has that show on Fox News as well.
Exactly, and so that helps him. On the other hand, we saw his performance in the last election, and there seemed to be a sort of ceiling to how far he could move. I know we have Tim Pawlenty, fans of Tim Pawlenty is supposed to be the great moderate that's going to rise above. I'm not sure I see that happening. I'm trying to think, are there any other? Those are the main. Oh, Newt Gingrich. I don't. He has a limited appeal. I don't see.
He throws his name in there almost every election.
He always does, and he's always going to be a mover and shaker in political circles. He's an intelligent person, but at the same token, I just don't see presidential material in his persona. Right, if I were to pick a front runner, 1, 2 in this order, it would be Sarah Palin and Mitt Romney.
A recent poll in a general election matchup said that if Palin was the presidential contender, that 64% wouldn't want her in that role. Could you see her as the VP candidate to Mitt Romney if it seems like they're kind of going head to head and they need to figure out almost like a Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama situation where they're both very strong candidates, but one seems to kind of edge out the other and they're wanting a dream ticket? Do you see that scenario possibly take place?
It's possible.
Yeah.
But I think about Sarah Palin retiring as governor of Alaska, and how she was. That was her first. She was the mayor of Wasilla, which we have to take that into account. But her public service, she chose to back away from that to kind of chase her own, I think, presidency, but certainly financial interest and political interest as well. I'm not trying to paint her as anything like just bad or evil. She was, there was her rational decision. There were reasons for it. I'm just not sure if she would want to play second fiddle again.
Right.
After this experience and the attention she receives, and now that she's making quite a lot of money, she's a rich person now. I don't know that she would, and she can continue making nice money. Being on the outside, waiting for her turn. But on the other hand, I think she wants to be president. So that would also be passing up an opportunity to move in that direction. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader,
right.
But that's my guess is that she wouldn't accept the vice presidency, or that to be part of a ticket. But
is there another cabinet position that would be right up her alley, like energy secretary or something, where she would be more inclined to accept?
No. She doesn't have a strong background in any particular area to validate putting her at the head of a department, and she wouldn't want to take any. She wants to run the ship. She wants to be captain.
Right.
And I don't see her taking engineering or anything like that on the ship to continue that analogy.
Right.
Okay.
Well, she has a lot of up and coming things. She has a new program on TLC, which is like a documentary style show on. It's called Sarah Palin's Alaska. So she has a new TV show that's getting paid $1 million an episode for. She also has her second book out in November. So she's working on a lot of different projects. But one of the things that she mentioned recently was that she felt the number one issue in this midterm election was abortion. Do you feel like that's an incorrect analysis of the Republican demographic in terms of what they're wanting? Because it seems like everyone's concerned about jobs, like you said before. I mean, if we have 1 out of 10 Americans don't have a job, you'd think that putting food on the table would be the #1 priority.
I think she's misreading. That's not a bad political strategy, but I think she is misreading the Times, because the Times, it is about the economy. This is the Great Recession, the biggest economic crisis we've faced since the Great Depression. There are indications that we're moving in the right direction now, but unemployment always lags behind in an economic recovery if we're lucky enough to be heading in that direction. And that is the real issue by far. It always is up there. Now, why is bringing up abortion, is that not a bad political strategy, even in these times? If you can bring out your base, if that's going to motivate a certain part of your base, remember I said there's 2 ways you can win: increase the turnout of your base or win the middle. Well, she's not going to win the middle. Her style of is always going to be appealing to the right-wing base, and that is red meat for the evangelical, the more socially conservative side. And if the Republicans can convince that type of voter that issue is on the table significantly, that's going to increase turnout, and it's going to help the Republican ticket. Especially, and in particular, there's already people that are going to be looking away from the Democrats, blaming the economy on them. And this, now you add the single issue abortion, anti-abortion voters in there. Mm-hmm. That could be part of a winning strategy for the Republican side of the equation.
Wrapping up our time together, for those people watching the program, how important is it for individuals to get civically engaged, whether it be registering to vote, actually going to the polls and voting, supporting a particular candidate, and volunteering with a political party or a candidacy? How important is it for individuals to get involved?
Okay, this is where we typically hear the rah-rah citizenship stuff now, and that can get a little old and tiresome. Mm-hmm. But so let me just, what I would do is I would appeal to people's self-interest, even though I believe in the rah-rah stuff and the need that democracy needs people to be engaged for it to function. Anyways, so I would especially be interested in people understanding that what happens with government affects their lives. Mm-hmm. You may think it's not important. You may think that it's not going to have an impact, but it can affect how much money you make. It can affect what jobs are available. It can affect the quality of the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, how safe your workplace is. There is not one aspect of anybody's life that is not affected by politics. So it is in your own self-interest to pay attention. In addition to the fact that democracy only works if people are paying attention and holding people accountable. When people make bad decisions or outright, unethical decisions, we need to be there to hold people accountable. So I'm all for the value reasons, the values behind the importance of civic duty, but it's also rational self-interest. People, if you're interested in helping yourself and looking out for your own best interests and your families, you've got to participate.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Beyond the Headlines. I'm Justin Chenette. For more information on the program, you can visit our official website at justinchenette.com. Just under the TV section, click Beyond the Headlines. We'd like to hear from you to how to make this show better and more informational so you can apply it to your daily lives. So if you'd like to be on the program or suggest a topic, please contact us. Remember to become aware with issues of the day, get involved in your community, and vote in the upcoming election on November 2nd. See you right back here next week.